Okay, so I hope this works. I hope this is gonna actually include the microphone because I've been having trouble with that. All right. How do I exit out of this stupid fucking menu? Okay. So, I wanted to talk about MetaQuest 3. Um, and basically, I'm using hand gestures here to fucking move around in this VR chat bullshit, and it's not really working that great. Anyway, I have to use hand gestures because it's the only thing that makes recording with a microphone seem to work for some reason. And basically, I want to talk about how much of a letdown MetaQuest 3 is and the Meta VR, right? I played PC VR for like 2.5 weeks back in the day, and I didn't keep the Valve Index. Uh, I because I travel too much, right? It wasn't worth it for me. It's just a bunch of cables and stuff. Even though I was blown away by the VR capabilities and everything. And then I ended up buying the MetaQuest 3 because I was like, okay, this can work while I'm traveling. I can just store it, it's like a little box thing, kind of this size, right? And it kind of, well, look at the hand tracking. So even that isn't working perfectly, right? But anyway, it worked when it comes to traveling. So the issue is that what the fuck? Anyway, the issue is that the games are there's no games for the MetaQuest 3. There's quite literally no games. I'm not exaggerating. There's not a single exclusive game on the MetaQuest 3. So that's a big fucking issue because everything's for the MetaQuest 2, which runs on potato level hardware. I mean, the MetaQuest 3 isn't like some great hardware either, but absolutely it's far better. Like it's able to actually have real video game level graphics, something close to today's standards. The MetaQuest 2 has graphics that are like 2000, the year 2000, 1999 era, right? Like Half-Life 1 or worse level graphics, right? Like the sky would be, well, this is a little bit of an example how it would be pixelated right there, but it would be usually worse than this, far worse than this. Like the stars would be pixelated as fuck, and most of these games don't even try to hide the like extremely low graphical fidelity. They don't even go for like cartoonish visuals like this game, for example, like like this map on VR chat. Um, they basically just completely embrace the fact that it's like shit graphics, right? So this was always like this is fine, I don't care. The MetaQuest 2 was always like that, and everyone knew what they were getting into, right? But the story was that the MetaQuest 3, when it comes out, it was going to have a lot better graphics and a lot of games were going to be updated for it to work like that. That never happened. That never happened. I played, you know, Asgard's Wrath 2. It looks like an Android game from 2017. Okay, it's like the graphics are on the level of Temple Run or Subway Surfers or something. Like there's literally. I mean, I've made videos which I mean I can't. I'm not gonna edit or whatever, but there's basically like I can like look at a statue and the pixelation is so crazy. There's like maybe 4 or 5 pixels on like it's like for example a big statue, like Egypt statue or whatever, and it's like 4 or 5 pixels the entire foot. So you can literally see it's just a stretched out pixel. And the entire toe, the entire like lower, let's say like the entire 1/4 of the foot is 1 pixel or something, like something to that level. I mean, it's seriously really bad. Just about everything sucks like that, and that's like that's the fucking main game that's being advertised with the MetaQuest 3. It's supposed to come for the MetaQuest 3. You would think that it was an exclusive. I thought it was an exclusive. No, the same graphics. You can have the same graphics on the MetaQuest 2, right? The same graphics, and it's just a real letdown because honestly, in these games are very janky, half baked. Asgard's Wrath kind of sucks. Asgard's Wrath 2, it's not good, right? It's like a fucking puzzle game, basically. Like, the combat is really not the main focus of the game. Like, combat doesn't really. There's gonna be like 5 to 10 minutes of combat, and then it's gonna be, I mean, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes of like bullshit fucking puzzles, right? Anyway, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it. I can make I can talk about this for a long time. But for example, another game like Bone Lab is supposed to be a really, really good quality game. Again, the pixelation is off the charts. Like, if something was supposed to be like for example, like something was written somewhere, right? And the like because Boneworks is the game that came out on PCVR, which PCVR, by the way, is good. PCVR is good. Half-Life Alyx was awesome. I played it, I finished it, it was awesome. But for example, on Bone Lab, something like this, right, written there, would be so pixelated, you cannot read it. You can't read it. Okay, so that's how bad the graphics are. It would be like this, right? You see how this is, obviously stylized, and they know you won't be able to read this, so they made it like a cartoon meme. It's like, oh, it's just a, obviously cartoonish little. In Bone Lab and other games, this would literally be letters that are just pixelated. That's how bad it is. It's so bad. I can't even begin to describe how bad it is, really. Like, I cannot. I would have to compile a big video, a bunch of editing, a bunch of different games, Asgard's Wrath, Bone Lab, fucking uh Saints and Sinners, the Walking Dead game, right? Jesus Christ. The Walking Dead game was advertised where the graphics are going to be improved a lot. They were not. They were not at all, okay? Like, it looks like shit. It looks like garbage, okay? It does not look like a game that is impressive in any sort of way. There's literally like, for example, when you're walking around in Walking Dead Saints and Sinners on in the MetaQuest 3 with the updated fucking graphics, it literally is like there's clutter on the ground, like this is an example right here. For example, something like this, right? And this is better. This is better than what they have in the MetaQuest than they have in the Saints and Sinners. This would literally be stuck to the ground like a texture, a pixelated texture, so pixelated, in fact. What the fuck? Okay, so pixelated, in fact, that it would be impossible to know what piece of trash they're actually like trying to have there. Even the great can be a PDF, like a fucking texture file, okay? Like, that's how, and a really low pixelated texture. That's how it is in the MetaQuest 3 version of Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. The combat is really fucking, everything's jank. Everything's jank. The only game that isn't jank in these VR, like in VR in general, in the MetaQuest 3 is Beat Saber. Okay, Beat Saber still fucking works. Although, again, I was kind of shocked that even in Beat Saber, I could notice the incredible lack of graphics, the graphical quality. Like, I was never one to really care about graphics that much. But man, they're like, they really, 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 like they completely, it's like, it's so bad that it's intolerable. It's intolerable. It's like playing an Android game back in the day before Android games started having some kind of graphics. Like years ago. It's like playing a game from the year 2000 or 1999, okay? And then it's not even like good gameplay because it's a lot of it still rests on gimmicks, in the MetaQuest 3, and the gimmicks are just that. They're gimmicks. It's not actually fun. Beat Saber is one of the only ones that actually manages to utilize VR in a good way where like this is fun and this is the only this you can only do this in VR. So it's really bad. I'm gonna try to wrap this up because I don't even know if this is a recording, honestly. That's how bad the recording is, even. There's a lot of issues with the fucking software here and the hard. Like, this is just. I wish I would have returned this, but it's already been a month and a half. It took me a long time to make a judgment on this because I'm also busy. I'm doing other things. I didn't fucking play this every day. And, just, just crazy, you know, like coming from PCVR, coming from playing Half Life Alex, coming from playing uh, mm, what do you what is it called? Sword and Sorcery, Blade and Sorcery. And now, like, I don't know, just like all these games that were really high graphics and honestly pretty impressive and fun. Uh, and even Beat Saber and shit. Coming to MetaQuest 3, I mean, I'm just shocked because the price point isn't really that far off. This was $900 in total with all the peripherals because I bought it in Europe, right? So it was like $200 more expensive than it should be. But point is, it's not that far off from the Valve Index. It's only like you know, $100 away. But okay, like the Valve Index uses a computer, so that's another 1,000. But it's just not. It doesn't. This is not. This is garbage. This is garbage. If I had known that it was gonna be like this, I probably would not have bought it. Um, Maybe I would have bought it and then I would have returned it, like I did with the Valve Index, because this is not something I'm probably gonna be playing for forever. Probably eventually I'll start just like lugging this thing around on my travels without ever really using it because the games just aren't there. They're not there. They're not fun. Okay, there's that one Light Brigade is kind of fun, but again, the graphics, that one manages to like kind of make it work, but I'm just really disappointed. I expected something fucking interesting, something worthwhile. Like, it's not just the graphics. It's a lot of it has to do with as well the gameplay. Like Bone Lab, garbage, garbage. That's like not worth anything. That thing, you know. I'm glad I'm pirating all of this. You know, I'm not fucking paying for this bullshit. But it's like I'm just shocked how. Like, imagine that they're expecting people to pay $30 for Bone Lab. Like, oh my god, let me tell you, Bone Lab has no content. That game is dead. The last update was in 2022. Okay, and that's one of the main games on the fucking Quest 3. The last update was 2 years ago. That's like there's only like 5 games on the Quest 3. There's only 5 games on the Meta platform, really. Like there's really not that many, you know? And VR in general, sadly, it's just so far away from from regular gaming. It's just I don't know. I got really excited with the PC VR. It was 2.5 weeks and it was awesome. I would have kept playing it if there was a way to do it in my life. But yeah, this is just it's really bad, and don't I recommend. I don't know. I'm just shocked at how bad the graphics are. This is so bad. All right, so let's see how I can. Boom. All right.